I'm just going to get you to say your name 3 times slow just so I can get into a bit of a meditative state, and then we'll jump into the cards.
Sounds good.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Shannon Stone. Shannon Stone. Shannon Stone.
One of the first sensations that I got was in my wrist, more pertaining to nerves. So I don't know if it's a case that something has happened, that you've like overstrained something, I don't know, but that was the first one. Digestive tract. So I don't know if it's the case that you're experiencing anything that way. It's gonna be funny if you're not. Right in here. This is gonna sound weird.
Say it. If only if you feel comfortable with it.
The uterus area.
Okay.
This is the weird thing I was gonna say. Literally, I felt like I had like cramps on my left side, like left center. So I was like, what is that? Maybe I'm constipated, but would you prefer to do a wild spread? Would you prefer to do 3 different piles? Would you prefer to just pick a number?
3 piles.
Okay. I'm gonna shuffle. You tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. Pile 1. Pile 2. Pile 3. First pile, top, middle, or bottom?
Bottom.
Okay. Middle, top, bottom.
Top.
Okay. And lastly, third one.
Bottom.
Okay. It's just, I think, the sense of longing for something to fill the seeming like vacant space in time right now. You even conveying your thoughts and your feelings, it just feels gray. Can I ask if that feels accurate to say?
Superficially, it feels like I want to say no, but I do think that that is fairly true. Most of my social activity in the last handful of months has been either the hour or so I get to see my friends on campus, because now that we're upper years, we have all different classes at all different times. But we shared one class this semester right before our lunch period, so then we would go have lunch together. Or going to see one of my best friends, Christina, and her kids. That's most of it. Oh, and volleyball. I play volleyball with my friends in Guelph still once a week. It feels like I'm fitting into a lot of their spaces. Every time I say, hey, do you want to come do this with me? It's a bunch of no's. And it's not for not valid reason.
No, I know. It's still not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Side note, are you shaking your table? Because I'm going to have a stroke.
Yeah.
When it's the case that you're living in a longevity-based state of mind, like you're putting in this work for the long run sort of thing, that is when it places you out of rhythm with your overall experience. So it's great that you know your end game because you know ultimately the direction you want to go, but you might be causing yourself hiccups along the way because you're so focused on this, where there's so many different like points that you have to consider, specifically destination-wise, because there's not just one you're working towards.
Interesting.
Just think of what your next destination has to be to get there, because you have to have just as much excitement there than you do in your end game.
I think you're right about my knowledge of what I want from an end game could be coloring my energy.
There's some part of it that you don't want. And you have to be really, really transparent about that. Because if it's the case that you're telling yourself that you don't want it, you're telling yourself that that's not gonna be. Oftentimes, more than not too, in these situations, it also might be like a lingering feeling of being afraid of change.
I don't think that's it. Because I want change so bad, specifically with location.
So then, what part of like the downtown nature do you not like?
Mostly just the living. Like knowing my apartment in London is amazing compared to my Guelph apartment.
Yeah.
And it's stunning. I love this apartment. But I know that like if I spend the next couple of years in Toronto, it'll be much smaller, probably have roommates. You know, just the thought of living there for like 3 or 4 years in a tiny little shoebox.
So you don't think that has anything to do with change? Because it doesn't have to be like emotional change. It can also be like what you have.
Okay, that's fair, because that would also, a shoebox would require me to get rid of so much of my stuff.
I'm not saying by any means you have to be 100% detached from everything that you currently have to get there, but you have to be completely willing to sacrifice to get there. Can I go back to the beginning though, when I was talking about the physical sensations? Did any of that resonate?
Absolutely, I can explain every single one of those. The wrist thing, I can't explain location, but I can explain the nerves. I get acupuncture. I got treatment last week actually for numb hands because when I sleep they go numb and you have a bunch of nerves that run through your shoulder girdle, and so my shoulder sits out of place and will often pinch those off when I'm sleeping, which is why my hands like die. The stomach thing is because I have been having GI issues.
Okay.
Not like really bad ones or anything, mild but consistent. And then the uterus thing is because I came off of birth control like 2 months ago or whatever. So I'm far more aware of my uterus. And the left side pain could probably be because like during a normal menstrual cycle, you'll ovulate and it comes from one side. And sometimes people can feel it.
I did a reading for a complete stranger, as I usually do, and I can remember a similar sense of feeling where I was like, I've never had this before, and I also don't feel connected to this.
Yeah.
And I could feel almost just like an invisible presence. And I said that, and I literally pointed, and she was pregnant. That's why when I was like, I didn't think that you were pregnant, but I was like, this kind of connects to the same feeling that I had in that sense, where I was like,
I could tell you were hovering around that word. It's funny, earlier you mentioned reconnecting like at a specific time because I was literally thinking about that on my drive home from work a few days ago. And I was going to message you and say like, it's really nice to see you like active on your socials again. Yeah. And I thought the timing of it was like personally also really good because again, it just like centered intentionality for me. That's what I was like, I want to do a reading. I need to get like centered on my intentions again. So it has been very nice to see you back on socials.
Oh, that's so sweet. I genuinely appreciate you saying that because I had somebody say to me recently, oh, like it's so nice to see you happy again. And I was like, bitch, what do you mean happy again? It hit a little bit, but it isn't to like point fingers at anybody or anything like that. What you surround yourself with, who you surround yourself with, the music you listen to, what it is you watch, what it is you do in your spare time, how it is you speak to yourself, it all has everything to do with the quality of life you're experiencing. And that is something that has become so extremely clear to me, moving like 4.5 to 5 hours away from home. Thank you for saying that. I genuinely appreciated that.
I genuinely meant it.